there everybody, welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review the Enfield Gang Massacre number 1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, we got the cover here for the Enfield Gang Massacre number 1. It is an Image comic, and it is by Condon and Jacob Phillips. And we start off with the Enfield Gang robbing a bank in Fort LaHaye, Texas in 1875. And as Montgomery Enfield is in the process of robbing this bank, we learn that this isn't the first time he's robbed this bank. This is actually the third time in 3 months. And as you can imagine, the bank owner is pretty angry about that. He tries to reason with Enfield, but Enfield doesn't hear any of that. He just leaves with a big bag of money and says he will see him next month. Then we cut to later that day, where all of the townsfolk are very angry and they're talking to the sheriff and the judge in town, and they're demanding that something be done about the Enfield Gang. Because not only are they robbing banks, apparently they're just a bad influence in the town overall. One man says they've been harassing his wife, and it's just creating an overall sense of lawlessness. And one of the citizens actually points at another man in the room who is a Texas Ranger and says he should do something about it. But the Texas Ranger is older, his name is Eli, and Eli just came here for peace and quiet. He did not come out here to try to take down an entire Western gang. And plus they haven't really done anything like killed anybody yet. They've just taken money and caused some commotion. So as he's explaining to the town folks that he doesn't want any part in taking down the Enfield Gang, someone bursts through the door behind him yelling murder. And when we cut to that man, he is gravely wounded, and he's yelling about a murder at the bank, and specifically the man who was yelling at Enfield in the bank is dead. And that's where I'm going to stop it. I don't want to spoil anything else. So I picked this book up because I'm a big fan of That Texas Blood, and this is actually a prequel to that. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a prequel or if it's just in the same world as That Texas Blood. But I thought that sounded cool because That Texas Blood is like a 70s horror book that's set in Ambrose County, Texas, and the Enfield Gang Massacre takes place in the same area 100 years earlier. It's got the same creative team as That Texas Blood, Condon and Jacob Phillips. I feel like the writer Condon has gotten better over time. I mean, he was good at the beginning of That Texas Blood, but now it seems like he's got a real rhythm, and I like the pacing of this a lot. I just really like the way he told this story, and I think he's really grown as a writer. The art by Jacob Phillips is freaking awesome. And I don't know if it's just because this series is set in a different time, but I thought the coloring was really well done, and even the line art seemed to be on another level than Jacob's other stuff has been. So it seems like both creators are really stepping up their game for this book, like it really means something to them. So overall, I thought this book was pretty great. Obviously, if you're not a fan of Westerns, it might not be your thing, and they haven't really revealed too much yet, but I think because it's related to That Texas Blood, there's probably going to be some kind of twist or evil thing going on in the background, so I can't wait to get to those issues. So I'm going to give this book a 4 out of 5. I think it was a really strong first issue, and you don't need to read That Texas Blood to read this, but I think it just adds a little bit to it if you have. And I highly recommend that series as well. So if you saw anything you like, definitely go pick that up at your local comic book store, and we will see you all in the next one.